Howdy! We're ready for another episode of And That's Why I'm Single. There's so many of these stories that it's hard to pick and choose where I need to begin or end with them. But I guess maybe I'll tell the one about the motorcycle ride, because this is one of my favorites. I met this fella on one of these sites on the internet, a little chat site. He didn't live too terrible far away from me. And I hadn't been talking to him, probably more than a week. And even then we hadn't really had any private conversations. It had just all been there on the public chat. So one Saturday afternoon, he sent me a message, private message, and he says, how would you like to go out to dinner tonight? I'd take you out on my motorcycle. Now, this has been probably about 10 years ago, okay? But even then, I wasn't a spring chicken. And I am a heavy gal. Ever since I went through my cancer and all that, it threw me into being a little overweight. Well, I said, okay, I'm adventurous. Yeah, I'd give it a shot. Now, I wouldn't do it today, all right? But 10 years ago, I was still somewhat adventurous. And I said, all right, let's do this. So I gave him the address and the directions and all, and he shows up at my house on this gold wing motorcycle. And hey, he's out in the driveway for a minute. I'm wondering, why ain't he coming to the door? What's going on? And he finally comes up to the door. He'd been fishing around in the little saddlebag things on the back of his motorcycle there. He had brought me flowers. Now, that kind of took me aback, first feller that had brought me flowers there on a first meeting date kind of thing. And so then I had to run around and try to find a vase, because I hadn't had anybody bring me flowers in so long. I didn't know where a vase was. So finally found one. I got the flowers put in it. And he says, well, let's go. Let's take off and go. So we go out. Now, again, heavy girl. And I'm trying to figure out how to get on the back of this motorcycle gracefully. All right. Well, I soon gave up the graceful part. I finally got up on the motorcycle, and he was trying not to laugh. I could tell he wanted to just split his sides laughing, but he held back. So now I've got my hair all pinned up because I knew it's going on a motorcycle, right? What I didn't know was, and he didn't know it either at the time, because he'd let his son ride on this motorcycle or drive it off somewhere, and his son had taken the air out of shock absorbers. So we're going down these old backcountry roads to get to the city there to go out to dinner. And that thing is hitting every bump in the road. And with every bump, my hairpins are trying to fly out of my hair. So I'm trying to keep the hairpins shoved in my hair. When we finally got to the restaurant, he took a look in the rearview mirror. And it's probably a good thing he did before he got off that bike, because I know that I looked like something haggard. My hair was going all different directions. I was a mess. And I'm frantically trying to get my hair under control before he gets off that bike and really gets a good look at this. Then he gets off and he kind of chuckles a little bit. I'm trying to get the hair back under control, because I have long hair, and it was like, sticking out all over my head. And I finally get this under control. So into the restaurant we go. We had a nice meal. Everything's going, decently. And he says, there's a car show up in the town where he was from, and he says, why don't we get on the bike and go up there and check out the car show? And now it's getting dark, and neither one of us helmets on our heads or nothing. Now, I did have a jacket with a hood, so at this point I'm thinking, all right, it's it's going to be dark and it's going to be getting chilly outside, so I'm going to pull this hood up over my head this time before we take off and try to keep my hair from going crazy on my head. But when we get on the bike and I go to put the hood up, I didn't have a string in my hood to tie it under my chin, so the hood's kind of hanging open on the sides, flailing around. So off we go. And we get out on one of these country roads, and somebody had hit a skunk. Now, I'm sure y'all have smelt how bad a skunk smells. But the closer we get to this, the stronger the scent gets. And we get close enough that my eyes are starting to water. And I had makeup on, so My mascara's starting to run. And we get a little closer, and that scent is getting stronger. We're out in the open air, open wind, whatever you want to call it, flying down the road on this motorcycle. And the scent of that skunk gets inside this hood that I'm wearing. And it goes to kind of circling my head. I am about to pass out on the back of this bike, and he's trying to go as fast as he can to get past this because I know it was killing him too. And we finally get past it and, get it dissipated. And I'm trying to air that hood out to get the rest of that scent out of the hood that I had on my head. We get uptown, and the car show's over by the time we get there. Well, we went up to his house. We watched a little TV, and he says, well, I guess I better take you home. He says, we'll get in the truck. I'll take you home in the truck. And I thought, well, at least, I don't have to worry about skunks and my hair and the hood and all that. We'll get in an enclosed vehicle. That'll be all right. So he takes me home in his truck, and he walks me up to the door, and I say goodnight to him, and I unlock the door. Now, I had a little small purse with me. I was riding on a motorcycle, so I wasn't going to take any big bag or anything, but I had a little small purse, a little shoulder strap thing to it. And I walk about 6 foot over to my kitchen table and set my purse down. And I turn around to look and see if he's out the driveway yet, because I was going to turn off the porch light. Not only was he out of the driveway, he was so gone you couldn't even see tail lights. He left so fast. He took off like nobody's business, buddy. He was long gone. He didn't even get to see heels. And I laughed so hard because I thought, what did it take me? 2 seconds to walk over to the table and then like 2 seconds to walk back to the door? It was only 6 foot, for crying out loud. And that's how fast he's gone. And that's why I'm still single.